Hey everybody, welcome back. This is HD and I'm coming at you guys with the next game in this series between Stephano and MMA. And once again, I want to remind you guys that this is for the online qualifier number 3 grand finals, which is a best of 3. And both players here have already qualified for Atlantic City, but only one of them can obviously win in this series and then go on to be the uncontested number 1 seed in their group. So, once again, I want to remind you guys, if you guys get a chance, go get your tickets for Atlantic City. There is a discount code right now, HDFAN, one word, and that'll get you guys a free 40% discount into Atlantic City. So I hope I'll see a lot of you guys there, because I'm going to be there commentating for about 4 or 5 days straight. And of course, I'm probably going to be losing a lot of my money at the poker table. So if you guys want some free money at the poker table, come look for the Asian guy playing poker at Atlantic City. Hopefully I kept that as vague as possible so you guys won't be able to hunt for the fish. Anyways, this is going to be game number 2. We already saw a pretty amazing first game to this series between MMA and Stephano, which was a cross spawn on Metalopolis, and you know, it was very, very back and forth and tug of war-ish. We had Stephano going with this kind of Ling Infester build that he loves to use so much against Terrence Protoss and against Zerg, and he makes it work. He gets the early plus melee plus Carapace upgrade. It makes the Lings really beefy, and then eventually gets up to the crack beef, where his Lings are just, you know, 5 or 8 Lings or whatever can just destroy a planetary fortress without any opposition whatsoever. They're just insane. And you've got Ultras, you've got Infestors, and it's a very difficult build to defeat. So, MMA, being that, you know, he just won at Columbus, Ohio a few months ago for MLG, you'd expect him to be able to hold it off, but he wasn't. And yes, he did have a little fatigue, as he mentioned in the beginning of the game. Is it an excuse, though? I don't know. He's an excellent Terran player, but Stephano is this rising foreign star who's been able to take so many games and so many tournaments as of late. And, well, let's just hope MMA can perform. If you guys are a Korean fan, or if you guys are a Slayers fan, or if you guys are MMA viewer or fan. So we'll see what happens here. Now, both players have spawned on Crevasse, which traditionally a very big map. They did not cross spawn, however, so we might not see as nearly as long as a game as we did see on Metalopolis. However, it's still a pretty far map, even with the players spawning without cross spawn, you know, spawning on the right hand side of the map. Now, both players did opt to take their expansions right away inside their natural. Now, this natural is protected, as you guys can see here, the ramp leading right up into the natural. Everything very well safe, pocketed, and protected. And also the gas here is, I believe, a rich Vespene geyser. I'm pretty sure it is on this map. And the rich Vespene geyser actually gives you 50% more gas income per round or per trip that the SCV or drone returns that gas. So instead of returning, I believe it's 4, it'll actually return 6, which is actually pretty helpful. Now, the SCV did go down as it went in there to scout, and there's the extractor. I'll go ahead and check right now, and yes, it is a rich Vespene geyser, so that's confirmed. I was just checking on one of the other naturals on the other side of the map, and in fact, both players will be expanding right away, and you can't really blame that playstyle here on this map. Before they even scouted each other, they decided, you know what, let's go ahead and throw down the hatchery or throw down the command center right away inside the natural. Very safe, very efficient, and it's going to give them a quick jump start into this game. Having said that, however, we can see that on this map, airplay can be pretty powerful with the spawns that they've gotten, especially for the Terrans, because MMA is going to be able to go ahead and drop right into the natural expansion, which, you know, isn't too far away from MMA, and the natural is kind of just a platform that's right there, and it's very easy for MMA to hit. So something like dropships with Marines, I don't know, maybe Marines and Marauders, or just pure out Marines with Stim can do a lot of damage inside the natural. And we do actually have a starport coming up here. A lot of production off of 2 bases. 3 barracks, 1 factory, and a starport. Stim is on the way as well. And here's the location I'm talking about that can be dropped. As you guys can see right there, it's not too far for MMA. And honestly, out of this first starport, I'm predicting to see a dropship here. I don't think we're going to see anything else. And Stephano and me may be on the same wavelength here, because you guys can see that little spore crawler coming up right now to defend the backside of that natural expansion where the dropships are most potent and most dangerous to the Zerg economy. Also have a tech lab coming up here on that factory, as you guys can see in the production tab. There it is. I am predicting to see Marines with stim and siege tanks here, combined with that dropship. Now, MMA doesn't necessarily need to drop into the natural. He can actually use the dropship to get high vision of that location right there that I'm highlighting, and basically use the siege tanks to start shelling onto the high ground with the dropship as a spotting unit. And yes, we do have siege tanks and siege mode on the way for MMA. So he is going to be going for very standard, methodical Marine tank, medvac style, which really, that's what MMA shines. We call him, or I call him, the Marine Medvac Abuser, MMA, not mixed martial arts. Little interesting random fact of the day, MMA actually used to be an MMA fighter, and that's why his name is MMA, which I think is actually kind of cool. And if you guys have ever seen MMA play live or seen pictures of him, he actually has the MMA kind of like Chuck Liddell haircut, or I don't even know if it's a haircut, it's like a buzz cut. Hold that thought though, we do have dropship coming in here with 8 Marines, but look at Stephano's already got a couple of speedlings here, and the speedlings don't even have +1/+1 yet. It is about to finish the carapace and melee upgrade, or just the melee upgrade, but Stephano with just enough lings here to deflect the drop. And once again, we're seeing the power of Stephano's style of ZVT, of just, you know, massing these lings early on, deflecting drop, deflecting the Marine tank attack on 2 base, and then slowly building up and ramping up to the infestors and ultras. So anyways, what was I saying? Ah, yes, the Chuck Liddell haircut of MMA. If you guys have ever seen him play live, he does have a very interesting buzz cut, and he is actually an MMA fighter, so he's one of the few South Korean pro gamers who could probably kick your ass without even blinking an eye, which is kind of cool. Anyways, let's see what MMA is gearing up to do here. He has a small position in the middle of the map here. I like how he's taking control over all the Zelnaga towers. As you guys can see on the mini map, all Zelnaga towers are owned by the red. And if you guys follow my mini map, my mouse right there, I was showing you guys that you can't, as a Terran player at MMA, you don't actually need to go around the whole map with dropships anymore if you want to drop the 3rd expansion of Stephano. He can actually just cut right across, because now he has control of the Zelnaga towers and he has control over the middle of the map. He actually is going to be sieging up here on that little point, that northern point, and I kind of like this position, dropping off a couple Marines here, which are basically baiting themselves as siege bombs. But MMA is doing a good job here. I love the positioning of those siege tanks. Going to be very hard to hit, unless Stephano wants to go back around here, and that looks like what he's going to be gearing up to do. He's not attacking the tanks and Marines that are coming out of the reinforcements of the barracks and factory, rather going into the 3rd, and now going to run right into the main. Very interesting decisions here from Stephano, and gonna go right into the natural now. So he's run his lings all the way back into the natural expansion, and meanwhile, he's still sitting lings across the middle of the map, but those lings are getting shoved by the tanks, and here goes the lings now attacking those SCVs at the natural expansion, and wow, a lot of SCVs have gone down as a result of this little blind backstab. In fact, 23 SCVs have gone down. And that's just horrible for MMA. And even those tanks on the northern position have gone down as well. More lings flooding in, wrecking the tanks in the middle of the map. Incredible play by Stephano. And for a second there I was saying, you know, I don't exactly agree with him running right into the natural, but it seems to have worked out pretty well for him. He just obliterated the entire Terran position in the middle, and not only that, he got a good 23 SCV kills. Can't come out better than that. But if we look at the top here, MMA is still ahead in supply. He's actually at 98. Stephano is suffering about a little bit less than that at 81, which is a little strange to me. You'd expect Stephano to be ahead after something like that, but maybe this is just MMA's superior macro shining through. We can see the units lost tab showing that MMA has lost a lot more than Stephano has. In fact, about 400 more in resources. So I'm not entirely sure how Stephano is behind right now in supply, but maybe this is just the Koreans' macro training coming through here, because MMA is surely, even after taking all that hits and losses in the middle of the field, even after losing a large chunk of his army and his position, he's still ahead in the supply tab, which is very, very curious. Anyways, we do have now launching a push through the middle of the map here with a lot of Marines. Those 1-1 Lings are in the middle to greet them, and a couple of Infestors back there as well. Actually, the Lings maybe even be 2-2 right now, so those Lings are very powerful, and here they go. They're just going to run right in. The Infested Terrans just spawning all over that Siege Tank at the Zelnaga Tower. That's going to go down instantly, but it doesn't look like Stephano's got enough to break through the middle, and he has to pull back. Unbelievable hold by MMA. And only really a ragtag army of Marines and that bunker there for holding down that area. That was basically MMA holding down by the skin of his teeth. And a couple more Lings, or even a single more fungal growth, one more fungal growth, probably would have changed that entire battle. But as it stands, Stephano has to invest once again into more Lings and Infestors to try to break this position. And this time, I think he has got enough. He is going to barrel his way in here with those 2-2 Lings, spawning Infested Terrans. Look at how much damage is being done here. But MMA with 3 more tanks, reinforcing it. And he might have enough tanks to hold the line. It's going to be so close. This is so huge. If MMA holds here, he'll be able to continue reinforcing this position. If not, then Stephano takes control of the middle of the map. And look at this, unbelievable. MMA holds with about 5 Marines and 2 tanks and pushes back the Infestors. That was an unbelievable hold, and now MMA can refortify this position while the Zerg player is macroing and trying to rebuild after that last attack. And like I said, that was a crucial point in this game. And I can't believe MMA held that. That was incredible. Now Stephano's got he can't even go to Hive Tech right now because he's just struggling to rebuild Lings and Infestors, as you guys can see. And the other thing that really hurts here is MMA can drop right into the natural because he has this position, and he can drop so quickly and easily and affordably. Stephano has to reposition his spores for maximum coverage. And, you know, it's just a very big nuisance. There's even a little sensor tower in the middle there, which has full range and detection of the Zerg activity and movements. MMA couldn't be happier with this position, and look at the tanks and the bunkers. Oh my god, I don't know how Stephano's gonna break this. He mind controls a couple of the tanks down there, and he gets another mind control tank as well. That tank is obliterating its friends and family, but it doesn't look like it's doing enough damage. Eventually it's gonna revert back to control of MMA, and MMA looks like he may hold this position, picking up that Marine in the dropship. Beautiful pickup. I mean, it doesn't really matter. It's just a single Marine, but every little bit really does count. And at the end of the day, MMA holds once again. And each time Stephano throws his forces into this Terran encampment and loses more and more, he falls further behind in technology. He can't get up to the mighty Ultralisk that he had last game. He has to invest all into more Lings, more Infestors, and it throws MMA out of, or it throws Stephano out of sync, and it allows MMA to get into his stride. And once again here, the third wave from Stephano. Does he have enough? He launches a fungal, green vomit goes down, but is it enough? It doesn't look like it is, and look at this now. MMA is about to get +3 weapons. He's fortifying a secondary trench line to the front here, right up to the 4th expansion of Stephano, and that +3 weapons is probably going to be the biggest game changer here. A couple Lings coming in, pushing back that attack with a fungal as well. But like I said, that +3 weapons is going to be so huge because Stephano can't tech up to Hive. He's been so busy defending this position over and over again that he's fallen behind in technology. And pretty soon, those M&M are going to go stim ballistic, and maybe they're going to be the ones on crack here. Once again, Stephano going in for another wave. Does he have enough? There's 4 bunkers here, and those M&M can hop inside the bunkers if they want to, but it doesn't even look like they need to. MMA is just going to hold with absolute impunity, and Stephano calls the well played, very well mannered, and leaves the game. Wow, what a game that was. And that is actually going to tie up the series. Unbelievable hold multiple times for MMA, and it just goes back to that very first hold in this game. Maybe not, it wasn't the very first, I think that was the second one, when MMA held the line with, I believe, 5 or 6 Marines, all in the red, and 2 tanks that he brought out of his reinforcements from his factories. If it wasn't for his macro, if it wasn't for that hold right there, I think the entire dynamic, the entire playing field would have changed in this game. So, wow. Golf clap to you, MMA. You have tied up this series, which means we're going to go to a game 3 when we come back next. HD, signing out.